There are lots of rhythm games out there, some of which were designed for handheld and portable experience. Such was the case for Deemo, a cute little piano-themed game originally designed for mobile. Later on, it was ported and enhanced on the PlayStation Vita in the form of Deemo The Last Recital, and the original mobile version was eventually ported over to the Nintendo Switch as well. Quite some time later, Rayark Studios, the developers, returned to Deemo once again, doing a from-the-ground-up remake including 3D explorable sections and really just adding a lot of visual depth to the world they created. Something I never thought was actually going to release on the Switch due to how far they were pushing for the VR mode on PS4. Here is my review of Deemo Reborn for the Nintendo Switch. Just like with the original, you play as a little girl who falls into this strange structure, not able to recall any of her memories. With the company of the cold-hearted masked lady and a large entity named Deemo, she explores around and finds that as Deemo plays the piano, a strange magical tree grows in this place. She soon becomes obsessed with the window at the very top and trying to get Deemo to grow the tree tall enough so she can climb it and go home. Now, being a remake of Deemo, this has a really good story attached to it. The 3D segments enhancing some of it, especially the little girl's self-discovery journey for her memories. Unfortunately, not all of the story aspects were enhanced. The most important part of the story, the ending, feels a bit rushed, as it is much less fleshed out than the original and has a lot of things that really made the original ending impactful completely taken out. It's still a decent ending, but nowhere near as impactful as it was before. It's also worth noting that the extra after-story stuff we got in the PS Vita version, The Last Recital, is still missing from Reborn. If you want that story content, you still have to go to the PS Vita to get it. When it comes to gameplay, Deemo Reborn is a rhythm game with a lot of 3D exploration and puzzle elements. Being a complete remake of Deemo, there are a lot of differences here. The main one being the fact that you have a bunch of 3D rooms you can freely explore instead of them being little 2D menu screens like they were in the original. They even allow you to have a little bit of subtle story stuff with interacting and talking to the NPCs. Now let's get to the negative change, and that is the selection of music. Counting all of the updates it's gotten since launch, the original Deemo has access to over 200 different songs that you can play through. Reborn, on the other hand, is missing a lot of those original songs. Rayark Games has cut ties with some of the artists that had music in the original, VK in particular, after the little scandal situation they were involved in. As such, the vanilla version of Reborn on PC and PS4 only has access to about 60 to 70 songs. Thankfully, Switch owners do have a silver lining here. A lot of the DLC packs you have to pay for on PS4 and PC are actually built into the Switch version, giving handheld console owners access to about 100 songs, even though that's still only half of the original. Progressing through Reborn is very similar to what you had to do in the original Deemo. You play music on the piano to grow the tree, and at certain heights you'll unlock cutscenes and new rooms to advance the story forward. This remake just has that extra element of exploring the rooms and doing puzzles to be able to unlock more songs and story bits. It is a really neat system, and players of the original will really like all of the references they've thrown into little sketches that you can find around each of the rooms. There's even a room with a slideshow allowing you to watch cutscenes from the original game. The main downside of these segments is the fact that the 3D exploration and controls are pretty clunky and slow. Tying this with the stiffness of the puzzle-solving controls, it's pretty awkward to get used to. But that's not what you play this game for. You want to play music. The rhythm game itself isn't that different from Deemo, though it is a little bit more complicated and difficult. In the original game, you had a bunch of different notes flying at you from different parts of the screen, but everything on the left was one color and everything on the right was another. You also had a choice of what buttons to press. Everything on the left-hand side of the screen could be controlled by left, up, or right. And the right side of the screen could be controlled the same with Y, X, or A, meaning you could choose just one button on each side and not have to worry about cycling through 6 different buttons through each song. But in Reborn, you do. Each individual note is either left, up, right, Y, X, A, or the analog sticks. Of course, you could always go into handheld mode and use the same touch controls that were in the original game. That really is the most fluid way to play through Deemo Reborn. It's just worth noting that if you want to use the physical controls, there's very little you can actually alter and change here. Even if you go into the control options, all you can really change are the middle button being up and X or down and B. But even with being a little more complex, it's still a fun game to play, and the song excerpts are only about 2 minutes apiece, making this a really good pick up and play on the go game. Speaking of time, let's talk about content and length. Even with the smaller song count, I managed to get to the ending and unlock the post-game songs and puzzles after playing for about 8 hours. This isn't a bad amount of length for the $25 they're charging, which FYI is a good $15 under the MSRP of the PS4 version, which doesn't have all of those DLC songs built in. Switch owners are just going to have to go back and forth with, do I want to pay $25 for these 3D segments and 100 songs, or would I rather pay $5 more and get the original and its robust 200 song library? Next, let's get into presentation, which looks good in detail, though the 3D segments do have a pretty significant blur aspect when you're walking around the rooms and looking at something that's far away. A bit more minor, but there are also some graphical glitches in the cutscenes, as you can see here with the little girl having this weird graphical taco thing around her during the scene. Thankfully, performance is good, especially in the rhythm mode, so let's go on to battery life. On the original model, Deemo Reborn has a battery range of 3 hours and 34 minutes up to 4 hours and 27 minutes. On the Nintendo Switch Lite, it has a range of 3 hours and 40 minutes up to 4 hours and 31 minutes. And on the Redbox or V2 2019 model, it has a range of 5 hours and 9 minutes up to 6 hours and 47 minutes. In conclusion, Deemo Reborn remakes the cute piano-themed rhythm game in a stylish way that puts you much more into the world than the previous versions did. Now, unfortunately, they both enhanced the story and took away from the ending at the same time, making it much less impactful than before. Combining this with the clunkiness of the 3D segments and having half the song list of the original, it's a decent rhythm game, but more for fans of the original that want to see all of that 3D exploration. If you're new to the series, the original has way more content for only $5 more. Reviews to Go rates Deemo Reborn for the Nintendo Switch a 6.5 out of 10. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Thank you for watching and have a great day.